So here's the thing about Janet, but like our Janet from The Good Place. Her development is really interesting because it doesn't happen linearly like most characters, because, you know, not a girl. It happens slightly every time she reboots, which, for one, is a fascinating detail about this interesting not-robot that the Afterlife has, but is also an incredibly interesting way to develop this character into one of my favorite members of the cast. In Season 1, she doesn't really start to develop until the second half of the season, although some memorable moments for her character include the episodes Tahani Al-Jamil, where Michael attempts to make Janet more congenial and friendly, and inadvertently makes her rude and sexual.
I'm loving that hat on you. It would look even better on my floor.
What is happening now?
And the episode Eternal Shriek, where we learn the details about Janet's operating system. I find it fascinating that they had a whole debate about whether or not Janet was alive this episode. They definitely conclude she was, and Chidi murdered her. She has 3 beautiful kids. They went to the Kids' Choice Awards. After she is rebooted, I love the relationship she forms with Jason, the beginning being that she asks him a question, which is just a fascinating start, and I love that she responds to his simple kindness and is able to begin to really care about things. He's the first person to ever ask her about herself. People have only ever asked her for things, and I think she genuinely does care for Jason a lot, even though she doesn't have too many emotions starting out. The relationship is obviously hilarious, but there is a lot of heart behind it. Kindness is really all it takes, and I kind of love that message because they stay in love for the rest of the series pretty much. Her journey to Mindy St. Clair's place also helps her character a lot. She loses her powers for the first time and has to walk, and learns about how much walking sucks butt. Plus, Jason and her do some pretty amazing things that almost turn out to be sex, so that's cool. Season 2, though, is where this show really gets cookin' with Janet's character. Her glitching storyline is a really nice addition to her character. You can tell before they even figure it out that she glitches when she feels emotions that she doesn't really know how to deal with. It's great that she retains a lot of the development before she rebooted this time, and keeps her desires so that she's able to continue forward. And the fact that she goes to Eleanor for advice is so nice after Eleanor's recent development. And her resolution being Derek is the best, just because Derek is like my favorite side character. Plus, Eleanor actually gives her really good advice that enables her to act more human, which is to work on herself and just be confident.
Eleanor told me that instead of being sad, I should go get it, girl. So I'm going to go get it, girl.
She's going to go get it, girl. But giving the most texture to her during the first half of the season is, of course, the episode Janet and Michael. A huge episode for Michael, obviously, but it shows how much Janet has changed too. When Michael tells her how much she means to him, she actually understands and shows the most emotion we've seen from her thus far. She even says that she's glad he said that. She cares about their relationship. She never has opinion on what people think. Later in the season, when her relationships are actually tested, she's able to pretend to be a bad Janet well enough to actually save Michael from being trapped. That shows how far she's come due to the 800 plus reboots, but she's also able to lie to save her friends. That is completely against Janet protocol. Definitely not in the manual, and a really big far jump from where we saw her at the end of last season. In Season 3, I like her role as Michael's sidekick, almost. She's like the voice of reason in the experiment for the most part, trying to get Michael to stop stepping in so much, but ends up falling for it too. But I actually like that she falls for helping them, as it shows that she still cares about them after Season 2's development. I love how she has to get used to not using her powers. They took that concept from Season 1 and extended it, and it works so well, especially when she has to play the waitress. She learns so much about how annoying it is to be a human. Their journey to see Doug Forset is also an important episode, but it also shows the lengths that Janet will go to help these 4 humans out. Plus, she gets shown to be a badass when she fights all those demons. Such a great moment for her, and shows that this team would be nowhere without her. I want to mention Janet's, even though that isn't really a character episode for her, even though they are all played by Darcy Carden, but I love how many chances she takes with her powers to help the humans out. Plus, Jason learns about her crush on him again, and that little shrine she keeps is fucking hilarious, but also so adorable. In Book of Doug's, they do a great job resolving the Tahani, Jason, Janet triangle, with a really textured performance from Darcy Carden. Her anxiety about sharing her true feelings to Tahani and Jason, Tahani who really intimidates her, and Jason who she's still really attracted to, is so relatable and an important step for her being able to grow. The connection that grows between Janet and Tahani is so precious too. They become really close friends in this episode and finally learn to speak their true feelings, which is an important lesson that Janet needed to have. And in the finale, she has a really tender moment with Chidi before he goes away. I love that the whole giving a note to Janet thing comes back from season 1, but this time it is so much more meaningful because Janet is actually caring about the people giving her the note, and it's also the other way around. Season 4 is interesting because the real Janet isn't actually around for most of this first part, but I love how they describe Janet's character by having Jason figure out so easily that it wasn't actually her. And in Employee of the Baramy, she has an excellent reunion with Jason, and that wonderful realization adds so much more trust to their relationship. It really cements them as the it couple of this show. And her return for the end of the experiment is super welcome. Having her help in a huge way in the funeral to end all funerals, the moment where all the other Janets assemble around her after reading the manifesto that she wrote is incredible. Shows the growth of our Janet by helping other Janets grow. Just completely love it. Then, after all the work she did saving the world, you know, most of the time the group was in trouble, she finally gets to do the job she was originally prepared for, now new and improved. First of all, she goes back and immediately begins fixing the good place with Michael, and also is able to help transform it into an actual good place, where she can serve people with the kindness she's always wanted to use. It's so heartbreaking that she has to watch her friends leave the universe one by one, but I admire her confidence in the solution. She cries, of course, when they leave, but she is always respectful about it when it's their time to go. Her ending scene with Jason made me cry, and then they had him come back and made me cry again. It's such a beautifully crafted relationship that is so earned and ends in a really positive way. You know, despite ending. And the summation of what Eleanor has taught her is so fun in Eleanor's final scene. She really taught her a lot about being a human and what it means.
I hate to see you walk through the final door at the edge of existence, but I love to watch you leave. Here we go.
And I take comfort in the fact that she'll always be in the good place, helping people, Michael, and she'll see Tahani, and making new friends for eternity. She deserves that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, consider supporting us on Patreon. You get videos early, you get full-time reactions, and you get to choose whatever you want to see on the channel, so it's a really great way to support us, but also get some extra content for yourself. What character do you think I should do from The Good Place next? I did this pretty soon after my Tahani one because somebody requested it, so request away, I'll do it pretty quick. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have a wonderful day.